Whom the Gods Fear, by Wdowski. Chapter 11. The Marco Polo completed its jump into the Xing star system. They were only a half day by sublight to the Xing system's furthest outer world, Xing 7. Placing the Polo 5A use from Xing 4. Captain Ruble immediately had his communications officer transmit peaceful greetings to the Xingese on all frequencies. At their present distance, it would take at least 40 minutes for their radio transmissions to reach Xing 4 and another 40 minutes for them to receive any reply. Their location was in such a far out-of-the-way section of the Xing system, they were very confident they would not run into any Xingese vessels. Limited with only sublight engine technology, it would take a Xingese interplanetary ship from Xing 4 over 4.5 months to reach them. The nearest Xing outpost was on Xing 6. Xing 7 was a Class INA. Ice surface, no atmosphere. It was much like the Earth's moon, only twice the size. It was riddled with craters. Its surface was frozen nitrogen, methane, and carbon dioxide, very similar to the surface of the dwarf planet Pluto. Well, do we just sit here and wait now? Ruble turned to Glenn. Before Glenn could respond, the communications officer reported that they were picking up a radio transmission within a minute of their broadcast to Xing 4. Ruble and Glenn both looked at each other confused. They both requested the transmission to be put up on the bridge's PA system. This is the new improved DIS venture requesting to take orbit above your home world. It was J.D. Dorfman's voice. We are an unarmed luxury liner filled with diamond-paying tourists from Earth, requesting orbital permission. Silence. Glenn spoke out loud. Damn. I thought he would have come to his senses and headed back to Earth. What's his location? Captain Ruble asked his bridge crew. The signal is originating near Xing 4. The communications officer answered. I don't understand, weren't they nearly 3 days ahead of us? Glenn asked Captain Ruble. It sounds as if they just entered the system a few minutes before us. Perhaps their new D-mass generator was installed prematurely, suggested Captain Ruble. Sounds as if they got it working again and then popped themselves right above the Xingese home world. A second transmission was picked up. It was also in English, but with a strong alien accent. You do not have permission to establish orbit. We demand you leave our system immediately. Whoa, there's Super Guy, started JD's. Response. We are a peaceful, unarmed luxury liner. We are requesting shore leave on your beautiful exotic world. We mean you no harm and only wish to spend purses full of diamonds for your hospitality. Again silence. Can we contact the venture? Asked Glenn. Yes, but we are so far out it will be at least 80 minutes before we would be able to receive a response from them. The communications we are intercepting now are at least 40 minutes old, answered the communications officer. The alien voice finally replied to JD's. Last transmission. This is your last warning. Leave our system immediately. Silence. Nothing more came over the bridge's PA. We have a video signal coming through. The communications officer put it up on screen without waiting to be ordered to do so. It was an image of JD on the bridge of the Venture. He was bleeding from his forehead. Flames burned behind him. Before him, he held up his cupped hands to the camera, filled with diamonds. The small pile of diamonds sparkled with the reflections of the fires upon the bridge around him. Please call off your attack. We are unarmed. We offer you all the diamonds we have. We will leave your system. Please call off your attacks. An explosion rocked the Venture's bridge. The video signal broke up and suddenly went dark. The bridge's main screen returned to the peaceful and quiet image of the star field ahead of the Polo. The Xing system's star was the largest, brightest star in their center view. They were too far out for it to look like a sun. The bridge of the Marco Polo was in complete silence for several minutes. Even Captain Ruble's jaw had dropped in disbelief. One of the female bridge officers broke out in sobbing tears, breaking the uncomfortable silence. Get us the hell out of this system, ordered Glenn. We have over 23 hours before we can make another jump. Ruble explained to him. The Xingese home world should be receiving our first communications within the next 20 minutes. They will then know we are here too. At least we are far out enough that by the time they can reach us, we will be months long gone, added Commander Granite. We need to notify Earth what has just happened. Rubel turned to Glenn. Granite is correct. This was a clear act of war on their part. The Venture was an unarmed vessel filled with civilians. Glenn did not reply. He stood there in silence looking at the Xing sun in the center of the screen. In the background, he could hear Rubel arguing that they should try out their new weapons and shields and wipe out their coastal ships. Granite argued they should keep their distance and gather as much information as they could on the Xingese until the Earth's new battle fleet arrived. Landru suggested calmly that perhaps it was prudent that they jump out of the system as soon as the D-mass generator was ready for another hyperjump. The three men's voices mixed together in Glenn's head. Glenn said nothing as he merely focused on the long, distant sun at the center of the Xing system, which tranquilly hung in space like a large, sparkling, yellow diamond. He was trying to understand why the Xingese struck like they did. "Glenn, are you listening to me?" shouted Captain Rubel. "Those bastards just destroyed an unarmed vessel filled with tourists." Glenn returned his focus back to the bridge. "I hear you, Captain, and you too, Commander, as well as you too, Landru. Captain, we have detected 3 ships leaving the orbit of Xing 6. The long-range sensors officer reported. "Distance," ordered the captain. "They are just under half an AU from our position. At that distance, with only sublight engines, they won't reach us for at least 2 weeks, pointed out Granite. "Then I think we have time. We should report what has just happened to the EGG on the SpookyCom," recommended Captain Mahan. "I fear their reaction may be like Captain Rubel's. As horrible as the destruction of the Venture is, I do think it may have been a major misunderstanding on the Xingese part. I really don't believe they are aiming to start a conflict with us." Glenn responded. At that moment, Rebecca Stern entered the bridge with her 2 assistants in tow. What the hell just happened? It seemed the whole ship had heard the last communication from the Venture on the ship's PA system, not only on the bridges. "Rebecca, not now," responded Glenn. "I demand we head for the Xingese home world now. So I can clean up this mess you idiots have created." She pointed a condemning finger at Glenn. "I had told you to take out his hyper-engines." She screeched as loud as her nasal cavities could handle. "Get her off my bridge." Captain Rubel roared, "Before we have more blood on this day." Rebecca's assistants grabbed hold of her and pulled her off the bridge. She screamed and cursed them all as she was forcefully removed.